ISS air leak persists. Latest repairs fail to fully seal the issue. The International Space Station's air leak conundrum, a persistent problem. Imagine living in a house with a perpetual air leak, and you'll get an idea of the challenge the International Space Station, ISS, is facing. Despite multiple repair efforts, the ISS is still losing air, and the issue is far from resolved. This predicament has been ongoing since 2019, and the latest update from Sergey Krikalev, Executive Director of the Human Space Flight Program at Roscosmos, is a sobering reminder of the complexity of this problem. The leaks, a top safety risk. The air leaks, which were first detected in 2019, have been a top safety concern for the ISS crew. Although the crew is not in immediate danger, the leaks are a significant issue, particularly as the ISS is an aging structure. The cracks in the Russian segment of the outpost are a concern, and the fact that the leaks have not been fully resolved is a cause for concern. The search for a solution. In October 2024, ESA astronaut Andreas Mogensen suggested that one possible solution was to seal off the affected section of the ISS. However, this would come at a cost: the loss of a Russian docking port. Roscosmos is keen to avoid this option and has been working with NASA to find a more permanent solution. Recent repairs. A mixed bag. The recent Axiom 4 mission was postponed to allow engineers to investigate a new pressure signature in the aftmost segment of the ISS's Zvezda service module. The pressure appeared stable, suggesting that the repair may have worked. However, Krikalev's latest update reveals that the leak has reduced, but is still ongoing. The ongoing investigation. Scientists from Russia and the US are working together to track down the root cause of the leaks and ensure that it doesn't occur in future space stations. The crew is not in danger, but the issue remains a concern. In the 2024 Office of Inspector General report, the cracks and leaks were described as a top safety risk, particularly as the leak rate was seen to increase in 2024. A space agency insider's perspective. A space agency insider has expressed skepticism about the assertion that the leak rate has been reduced and efforts are continuing to find and repair the last of the leaks. This lack of confidence is understandable, given the complexity of the issue and the fact that NASA and Roscosmos have not reached an agreement on the point at which the leak rate is untenable. The Crew 11 mission, unaffected by the leak. The Crew 11 mission, which was stood down on July 31st due to cloud cover. ISS air leak crisis. Is the Russian segment in jeopardy? The International Space Station, ISS, stands as a beacon of global cooperation in space exploration. But a persistent air leak in the Russian segment is casting a shadow over its future. Despite years of relentless efforts to locate and seal the leak, the issue remains unresolved, pushing space agencies to explore various solutions. This ongoing problem, highlighted by Sergey Krikalev, the executive director of manned space programs at Roscosmos, has become a frustrating puzzle for engineers. But here's where it gets controversial. Could this leak signal a deeper problem with the aging infrastructure of the ISS? The mysterious leak, a growing concern. The air leak was first detected in September 2019 in the Russian segment of the ISS, specifically in the vestibule connecting a docking port to the Zvezda module. Launched in 2000, the Zvezda module is a cornerstone of the Russian segment, housing crew quarters and vital life support systems. Initially, the leak was minor, but it has since escalated, with the rate of air loss now exceeding 2 pounds per day. This might not sound like much, but in the delicate environment of the ISS, it's enough to set off alarm bells. The long-term risks to the station's structural integrity are significant, and the situation demands urgent attention. Sergey Krikalev has been candid about the struggle. "We continue our efforts to find and fix it," he stated, noting that recent repairs have reduced the leak rate but have not eliminated it entirely. At one point, the team believed they had sealed the final crack, only to discover later that the problem persisted. This ongoing battle highlights the complexity of the issue and the need for a permanent solution. The elusive source, a technical nightmare. One of the most baffling aspects of this leak is the difficulty in pinpointing its exact source. In the vacuum of space, even the smallest damage can have life-threatening consequences. Air leak on Russian ISS segment persists despite repairs. Imagine floating hundreds of miles above Earth, only to discover that your home in space has a persistent leak. That's the reality for astronauts aboard the International Space Station, ISS, where a Russian module continues to grapple with an air leak, despite recent repair efforts that had sparked hope for a resolution. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this a sign of deeper systemic issues in space infrastructure, or simply a stubborn technical challenge? Let's dive in. The ISS, a marvel of international cooperation, has long been a symbol of humanity's reach into the cosmos. Yet this ongoing issue with the Russian segment raises questions about the longevity and maintenance of aging space systems. After all, the ISS has been in operation since 1998, and while it's a testament to engineering prowess, it's not immune to wear and tear. Recent repairs were expected to seal the leak, but the problem persists, leaving engineers and space agencies scratching their heads. And this is the part most people miss. Air leaks in space aren't just inconvenient. They're potentially dangerous. Even a small leak can compromise the station's atmosphere, forcing astronauts to use precious resources to maintain safe conditions. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of life in space and the constant vigilance required to keep it sustainable. For those following space exploration, this story is a fascinating, if unsettling, peek behind the curtain. It's also a call to action for innovation in space technology. How can we build more resilient systems for future missions, especially as we aim for the Moon, Mars, and beyond? Here's a thought-provoking question for you. Are we doing enough to future-proof our space infrastructure, or are we risking similar issues in the next generation of space habitats? If you're as intrigued by this as we are, join the conversation. What do you think is the root cause of this persistent leak? And more importantly, how should we address it moving forward? Let us know in the comments below. Your insights could spark the next big idea in space exploration.